for all of you. In fact, let me also inform you that when we talk about pandemic per se, a crucial pandemic lesson is to be prepared for future uncertainties by constantly honing your skills and also to continue to be paranoid about future developments in your practice. Now, this is something that the pandemic has definitely taught us. But in this context, we have with us Hon Meng, who will be helping us understand how we can future-proof our practice. In fact, we have our next speaker joining in, who is Moh Hon Meng, the co-founder of the iFast group. And he is also active in charity work in Singapore. And he's also on board of Children Cancer Foundation, as well as the Singapore Cod Bank. So it's time to understand how to business plan to future-proof your practice. And giving us some important insights into this thought, we have with us our next speaker, Moh Hon Meng, joining us in just a couple of seconds. Stay tuned. Here we get started.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. It's really exciting for me to be here. Thank you to the team at Cafemutual for the invitation to speak at this important event. I've been given the task to try and imagine the future, and that's usually quite a difficult thing to do because the future is full of uncertainties. But then maybe I was thinking that the future of the advisory business in India could be already what has happened in Australia, in the UK, in the US, to some extent in Singapore, and maybe so I'm drawing lessons from these markets, to try and think about the kind of things that could happen in India as well. I think one of the most important principle, number one, is really the idea of independence. I think what happens with a lot of emerging markets is that when a market first emerges, when an economy first emerges, the first to enter, to go into the finance industry to serve the consumer market are really the product manufacturers. So what happens is that the product manufacturers, so this will be the insurance companies, the mutual fund companies, what happens is that a lot of times they form an association and then they appoint direct distributors of their products. So we see that there are a lot of your mutual fund distributors. They are the Thai insurance agents, and it's the same situation in many emerging markets such as Malaysia and Thailand as well. Primarily, the distributors identify themselves with the product. But then over time, what happens is that the regulators start to worry about the people, that their financial planning is done in a correct manner, particularly with an aging population. I think a lot of people, a lot of governments are worried that that their people may not have enough to retire with. So they certainly need to do the investment planning well. And then so what happens is that the government start to enact regulations that bring about the independent financial advisor, the IFA. And we've seen this happen in Australia, in UK, in the US. And together with it, they push down the commissions of the products to near zero, which forces the IFA to charge the clients fees for their service. So the idea really is that the IFA is paid by the client and therefore represent the interest of the client. And so this is I think certainly this is this could be quite painful while it's happening. But then I think, especially when we think in terms of other professions, perhaps it makes perfect. It becomes clear the intention of the government. Really that all professions really charge for their service to the client instead of making money from the product provider. So if you have an architect, for example, it'd be very strange if the architect says, "Oh, my design of the house for you, Mr. Client, is free as long as you buy cement from me." So your house would have it would be completely made of concrete in that way, or for a doctor to say that my consultation, my diagnosis is free as long as you buy medication from me. So that would I think the patients would be over prescribed with medication. So with the professions, certainly they should be charging for their expertise, for their advice, for their views, for their planning, and be removed from the products. And also, I think along with the regulations such as these and such as the RIA regulations in India, there's also a requirement to education requirement to pass certain critical examinations. And there's also a compliance requirement that a certain amount of paid up capital is increased to really increase the professionalism of the IFA or of the RIA. So I think this is coming, or this has already come in India. The desire of the regulator to move in this direction, that the financial advisors are independent, and so that the financial advisors can really tell the client, "Look, Mr. Client, I'm really here to understand your financial needs." And after that, I can meet it with any products. I mean, if you need a mutual fund, or if you need ETFs, or if you need individual stocks, or you need global stocks or Indian stocks, I have all the products. So it's not about the products, it's about what your needs are, and then I will see the right products to fulfill for you, right? So it really shifts the focus to the clients. And but the reality is, with a lot of the IFAs in these markets, the main product they use is still the mutual fund, right? Because the mutual fund is an extremely versatile product that can be used in to meet a lot of client situations. So 60, 70, 80% of the client's portfolio would still be formed of mutual funds, but then there would be some stocks, there may be some individual bonds, maybe some global products. And this is the other driver, which is more sophisticated clients. I think because of the internet and because people are more educated nowadays, you find that they actually want to have a conversation with their financial advisors. Even the doctors as well. It used to be 20 years ago, we go to the clinic and whatever the doctor tells us, we just accept. But now we go to see the doctor and we actually have a conversation with the doctor because we've read certain things on the internet. So generally, clients are more educated, more sophisticated, and they want to have, and then they read about ETFs, they read about global products, and then they want to have these products in their portfolios. And also what we've encountered is that there are professionals, other professionals who become clients of advisors, and then so you could have a client who's, let's say, works in the semiconductor industry, and then he says that he wants to have NVIDIA and Taiwan Semi individual stocks in his portfolio, and he could be more the expert in semiconductors than the advisor who's a more general expert, and so that kind of interaction with more sophisticated clients can be expected in the future. So I think independence is coming, and there'll be more, I think, more regulatory actions for, and in Singapore, there's actually a definition for the word independent. So the advisor must represent a certain number of product providers in order to claim themselves to be independent. and also they must not be able to receive a variance in the different types of fees. So these are the regulations that we experienced, that we see the changes that happened in Singapore, and also in these other important markets, which we feel that the Indian regulators are very rapidly bringing to India. The second important idea is really in investing globally. I think if I asked you guys to put all your money into Malaysian equities, you would probably tell me that I'm crazy. But if I ask our Malaysian clients to put all their money in Indian equities, they would say I'm crazy as well. But our Malaysian clients have a lot of their money almost completely in Malaysian equities. So this is the home bias that's true of every market in the world, that we are very comfortable with investing in the companies in our own market. But I think earlier there were the presenters that showed that we are actually missing a whole world of opportunities out there, and our whole market is actually really very small. And we want to be able to expose our clients to these opportunities. And just a very quick illustration. This is in the last 10 years, the S&P 500 has outperformed the Sensex. But this is when you compare it purely with in terms of the index numbers. But over the last 10 years, the INR has actually depreciated about 40% versus the US dollar. And just now, one of the earlier speakers said that every year you expect a 3 to 5% depreciation of the INR. And that's actually, okay, so that's actually quite serious when you compound it over 10 years. And here you see that in INR terms, you actually get 16.6% per annum from the S&P 500 versus the Indian rupee. So here is an idea that I'd like to share with you, that this thing that we tell our clients that you should invest for the long term, that long-term investing works. I think that is only true when you invest globally. It's actually very, very hard to say whether investing in any one market for the long term will prove to be true or not, because there's a lot of disruptions happening. If we look at the Singapore market, our media companies are being disrupted, and they're losing all the advertising dollars to Google and to Facebook. Our transport companies are being disrupted. Our oil and gas companies are being disrupted. So there's a lot of global disruption happening. In India as well, when I was in India 15 years ago, I used to stay at an Indian hotel, eat at an Indian restaurant. There wasn't any malls. I shopped at an Indian wet market, and I took an Indian taxi. But now when I go to India, I stay at the Hilton. I order an Uber, which is a Suzuki or a Hyundai, and then I go to a mall and I drink coffee at a Starbucks. So when India becomes richer, what happens is a lot of Indians are also starting to consume these global products. You don't wear your Indian-made shoe. You wear a Nike. You get richer. You buy a Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, and so these global brands that sell to a global market, you need to be investing in them. And when people used to say invest in blue chips, perhaps some local blue chips, but certainly in the global blue chips, like all these brands that everybody is buying across the world. They're listed in the US, in Europe, in Japan, in Korea, in Taiwan, in China. You want to be able to access these products and give your clients the opportunity. Okay, those are really my two main points, that the future is independence and investing globally. There are two small points. One is that you need to specialize. I think the speaker previous to me mentioned that you really should focus on your clients. There have been some IFAs who attempt to also build their own technology product and also have their relationship with their clients and platforms, build their own platforms. And generally, they haven't done really well. So what has emerged in the market is many platforms to serve the IFA, so that in providing the technology, the administration, the products, and the payments, so that you can focus your efforts on serving the client full time. And then the last idea I have for you is really to build a team. I think a lot of IFAs start out with 1 or 2 advisors. And we've seen in Australia and the US, in the UK, some of them grow into huge numbers, into the hundreds. That is if you have the ambition to build that kind of a huge company. But actually, most IFA companies that work really well have between 5 to 10 advisors. They can look out for each other, help each other meet clients. And then you have different clients who have different backgrounds, who are looking for a particular type of advisor. Some women clients prefer having a women advisor. And then so if you have different advisors, you can start to specialize in different areas. It also increases your ability to hire staff, some staff in research, in administration, in marketing, that greatly that reduces the amount of work that you actually do in these things. And then again, that you can spend more time with your clients. So this is my last slide. These are really the 4 big ideas I have for you. The gist of it, of what I think the future holds, is really to expand your clients' investments globally. It's a world of opportunities. Then you will greatly enrich your clients when you find those opportunities versus investing mainly in India. The idea, to pursue independence, to be able to tell your clients straight in the face that I'm here completely in your interest and I'm fully paid by you. And my intention is to really understand your needs and to serve you to the best of my abilities with a world of products that would meet your needs. To specialize in that area and not to get too distracted with creating your own software, building your own platform, and build a team of 5, 10, 15 advisors, which would be ideal, very comfortable size, that would greatly increase the scale that you can handle your clients. So, okay, it's Chinese New Year here in Singapore. It's the year of the golden ox, a very auspicious year that we expect everyone to be looking forward to greater prosperity. So I'd like to wish all of you a very prosperous, very happy, very healthy year of the ox from here in Singapore. Thank you.
Services play a leading role in the economy.